Dear brother and sister, okay, inside Southampton, okay, today the Sakinah finance training is about to begin, so everybody please be seated. Shukran Allah for the opportunity He gave us today. So welcome, and my name is Muhammad Sabri bin Alias. Okay, I am your MC today, and together with Inside Southampton team, we would like to thank you for taking out your time, your busy day, to participate here in our Sakinah finance training. Okay, for your information, the gathering held monthly here in order to increase the Islamic understanding and strengthen the bond between our family members. This February of 2014, we proudly established a joint event with the respectable Indonesian, Malaysian, and some Brunei Muslim society. It's well-known program inside Southampton. Thus, the program will foster mutual cooperation and more merrier gathering. Okay, to begin the session, I'll briefly take you to the event timeline. Okay, so there are two parts here today, and where the Asr prayer will be the breaks in the middle. Perhaps there will be a day direct during the break. And just before the break, we will also have a performance from our madrasah kids. Okay, and without further ado, let us begin with Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Alhamdulillah. The next agenda is the Quran recitation by our brother here, Muhammad Shukri Ismail. Okay, so Muhammad Shukri, please.
Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will speak in Malay. Jadi insyaAllah saya akan membacakan surah As-Saff from the first ayat into 7. Jadi insyaAllah Al-Quran bukan sekadar untuk kita dengar dan baca saja, tapi untuk kita hayati dan praktikkan dalam hidup kita, insyaAllah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sabbaha lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard, wa huwal azizul hakim. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Kabura maqtan 'inda Allahi an taquluna ma la taf'alun. Inna Allaha yuhibbul ladhina yuqatiluna fi sabilihi صفا في سبيله صفا كأنهم بنيان مرصوص. وإذ قال موسى لقومه يا قوم تعلمون أني رسول الله إليكم فلما زاغوا أزاغ الله قلوبهم والله لا يهدي القوم الفاسقين. وإذ قال عيسى ابن مريم يا بني إسرائيل إني رسول الله إليكم مصدقا لما بين يدي من التوراة ومبشرا برسول يأتي من بعد اسمه أحمد فلما جاءهم بالبينات قالوا هذا سحر مبين. ومن أظلم ممن افترى على الله الكذب وهو يدعى إلى الإسلام والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. صدق الله العظيم.
Alhamdulillah. Thanks to Muhammad Shukri. Right, so without further ado, I would love to invite Mr. Azim, okay, as Insight organizer, to give some opening remarks and a few words.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon everyone, and also to our guest speaker for today, the author of Sakinah Finance, Mr. Lukian Tamani and Mrs. Muniati Muhsin. Welcome to the event today. Sakinah Finance Islamic Financial Planning, brought to you by Insight Southampton in collaboration with the Indonesian Muslim Family of Great Britain Southampton chapter. My name is Azim, and as a representative of Insight, I will speak on behalf of the director of today's event, which is Musab, but I'm afraid he couldn't able to make it because of unforeseen circumstances. It is my great honor to welcome all of you today, and I'm going to take this opportunity to briefly introduce to you guys what actually Insight is. Insight Southampton is a name for a series of intellectual discourse organized by Malaysian societies in University of Southampton, aimed to cater current issues like politics, economics, and social problems, in hoping that we can create a whole-rounded individuals that are literate about current issues. In the past, we already conducted numbers of events, and the recent one was session with Harifir and talk with regards to the Maulid Nabi. Just going to show you guys the poster of the event. For the past few months, that's the kind of events that we had in the past. So for this time, with the countless efforts from Indonesian Muslim family, especially from Mas Rafiq and Pak Agus and other people that I can't name now because there's a lot of you guys, and also from other Malaysian as well. For the first time, we are able to make a collaboration for the Sakinah Finance event so that we can achieve a greater number of audience and also better outcome. So my hope is that everyone will benefit from these sessions, and may Allah will reward us with every deeds and actions that we do. With that, thank you.
Alright, so as mentioned by Azim earlier, we got two speakers today. Okay, first is Mr. Lukian Tamani, okay, former student of University Malaya in Malaysia, as well as UIA, and currently a PhD student in University of Glasgow. While the other speaker is Murniati Mukhlisin, currently a senior lecturer at Tazkiyah University College of Islamic Economics. So without further ado, I would love to invite the speaker. Give it up, guys.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakallah khair, Brother Sabri, for kind introduction and Azim as well. Alhamdulillah alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin, amma ba'd. Qala Allah Ta'ala fi kitabil karim, a'udzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. والذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما. I will not translate the ayah because that's basically the themes of today. How Allah has actually anzala, sent on Sakinah to the hearts of every mu'min. That some of us being blessed to receive Sakinah because of our deeds, our iman, and our amal saleh. But some of us has to struggle, have to go through tribulations, hurdles, and obstacles to find one. And Sakinah is a very familiar words for us, especially those who have gone through akadikah and those who will be, inshallah, something that we always hear and being greeted when we have akadikah or wedding receptions. It's kind of in Indonesia, for instance, people no, they don't mention Sakinah anymore. They just say Samara, which is abbreviation of Sakinah or Rahmah, which by way of shortening it, it might lost the meaning. And finance is quite contradictory actually to combine Sakinah and finance. But in many cases we find that it is finance that actually strengthen the bond of family, the bond of marriage. And in our 14 years of marriage, we find that it is one of the things that keep us passionate, bring up family, raising up the kids, the children. And we also find that finance and Sakinah can indeed be combined, can indeed be put together as a term. Because many families struggle to keep the relationships, the knot. And as Allah mentioned in the Quran just now, that it is something actually being sent out by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the heart of the Muslims. There's also a hadith that later on we will discuss, inshallah. But before that, of course, we're very grateful to be invited by Insight and the Muslim families here. And to share the secret, actually, Sakinah Finance was conceived in KL, where we were there. And it was, of course, a long process, but we'll share with you later on. And it reminds me of hadith as well. In Sahih Bukhari, there's a hadith I forgot who narrated the hadith, but it goes like this. There's a question by Sahaba, Ayul Islam khair, whose Islam is better or good? Qala, Rasulullah said, Tut'amu ta'am, to give food, to share food, to share your blessings, and wataqra'u salam, those who convey salam, or those who convey and those who receive salam. To do to wataqra'u salam, liman ta'rif, those who have known before, waliman lam ta'rif, something like that, and to those who have not known before. So I think in today's event we have done both of them. Those who have prepared for Allah today, mashallah, alhamdulillah, thank you so much. And they have become part of that category of good Muslim. And of course we have of course we have been greeted by salam since the beginning. But let us start Sakinah Finance. Today's event will be in two parts. The first part is where we will share with you a little bit on what is Sakinah Finance, how it was conceived, and what do we mean by Sakinah Finance. And the second part, inshallah, after our break, we will go through a few steps that we have put in the books. We have a booklet, a workbook we can go through to implement. Basically, how to implement Sakinah Finance in the family. This is a bit of the profile of ourselves. But Sakinah, of course, we all, I'm sure we are familiar with the term, which means tranquility or state of mind or ease. And as in Surah Al-Fatah, which I have read just now, it is clear that Sakinah is something that is a privilege that is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in a way it is destination. But in another hadith, Sakinah is also something that you can get without any struggle, without any efforts. By sitting in a majlis or in the halaqah of knowledge or of dhikr, there's also Sakinah being sent out to the group of people who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you can actually you can actually feel tranquil or peace by being among those who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as the story of Hijrah, it is also hurdles or tribulations, the struggles or obstacles to find Sakinah. In this ayah, for instance, there is a very famous term, La tahzan inna Allah ma'ana, which Rasulullah said, or remind Abu Bakr that in this journey, in Hijrah, for instance, in our family life, in our student studies, in our life as students overseas, we will find a lot of tribulations, and we should never be despair, because Allah is always with us. And in a way, by feeling that Allah is always with us, in a way we will find Sakinah as well. So it is a journey at the same time as well as a destination. So Sakinah Finance is actually a book of. So we don't really call it a financial planning book, because finance, a lot of books on financial planning or financial management talk about money, talk about how to accumulate wealth, talk about how you manage your cash flows. But we believe they will not solve the problems of creating a tranquil or stable family life. And it is also our way of inviting others to look or to correct each other. So we don't feel isolated as a Muslim family wherever we are. And a lot of anxiety in our life as students, I believe all of us feel anxious of a lot of things. Less income, less money, for instance, lack of confidence, lack of wealth, And also, when you have a lot of things in your life, either a material thing, material assets, or you have family members add up to in your family. There's always an insecurity, the feeling of insecurity that you might lose your loved one, which is very human in a way. And finance or financial planning and financial management will not be able to solve those losses. Emotional and physical loss will not be able to solve those problems. But what finance can do, what managing finance can do, is to secure or to help us in facing financial losses, and that's what we're going to do. Why Sakinah Finance? As I mentioned before, we wrote this entries, journal entries. When we were in Malaysia, we were students, both of our students, regular students. We didn't have scholarship, we don't have secure income, but we had two kids. Two kids basically for that. And being in that situation, managing finance meticulously, managing our own finance really well is a key to survive in a way. And based on this experience, we kind of always record our expenses. We record all those experiences. And after coming back to Indonesia, after 7 or 8 years in Malaysia, we practice we make use of those experiences. And we felt that it was very useful. It has been very useful for us to always strict in finance. Strict means we will always spend ahead before spending anything that we have. And that's the key to financial planning, actually, or financial management. Very good cash flow. And starting from then, actually, while in Malaysia, from 1992 to 2002, with 2 years break, in my case, we start to read books, actually, on financial management. But we're not happy. What we find in financial planning books are jargons on how to become rich, how to become to receive passive income without working hard, how some books are ridiculously titled that you sometimes don't feel it is useful. And also it doesn't bring, we realize that when we have, you have money, you have secure income, you accumulated a lot of material things, you don't end up being happy, you don't end up being tranquil, you don't feel Sakinah throughout. So we felt that there was something missing in the existing books on financial management, and that's why I think we look at a lot of other books, and then we combine our experiences, and we feel that we should at least share our experience, and hopefully it will be useful. And alhamdulillah, so far the response has been good, and we felt that this is a good thing, and we should continue. So we don't look at planning, because when you talk about financial planning, they always start with dreams. What do you want to have, and then how to achieve them. For instance, if you look, there are a lot of websites on financial management, but they always start with how to achieve something, how to live. For instance, Robert Kiyosaki have 4 quadrants, the cash flow quadrants. And of course, he actually encouraged people to have passive income from real estate. So you basically earn income without working. So in his words, the money works for you. But of course, that's not always the case for us. So we try to look at 6 or 5 aspects of our life, looking at actually the cash in and cash out, and then look at what components that we can refine. We can input some Islamic values in there. Then we came up with 5 aspects of financial management: income, needs. We classify them as dreams, which is there's nothing wrong there, but we need to acknowledge that dreams or wants is always unlimited, but we need to manage them. And as in other entities like corporations or organizations, we do have surplus and deficits in the books, in our finance books. Then we need to manage the surplus as well as deficits. And of course, after all that, you need to have a buffer to support the events in the event of uncertainty, or when you have when you face you face hazards or face risks. And this is the if you like, the house of Sakinah Finance. So we'll cover most part of this. At least we'll look at I believe income is something. It's very basic. The basic principle of halal income in Islam. You should focus on halal and good, clear intention. We will focus on needs, wants, and a little bit on the surplus and deficit. While contingency, we just touch briefly on that. So basically, these are the 5 aspects of financial management that we try to cover in this book, and of course in this presentation as well. Feel free to ask questions. So we would like to encourage questions, and if anything you are not clear about, please ask questions. In that way, we can discuss more relevant issues to our conditions here. And of course, in the second sessions, we will go through from here, from wants, of course, from wants, and then how to manage. So we start from here, but from the first session, we'll start on income. If I may ask the questions, how confident are you all of us here that our income is 100% halal? Hopefully 100%. Inshallah? Inshallah. And then the questions that we always ask ourselves, I think, not just at one point in times, but also I think every day. Because as a father, as a mother, as parents, as breadwinner of the family, I think we should always ask these questions. Are the food that we bring home to the family is coming from halal sources? Are there something that will bring up our children in the good way? Because food that we provide them will become blood, and will become we will grow in their bodies. So this is crucial questions that we should always ask and answer honestly. And by having answered this question positively, having answered these questions convincingly that yes, alhamdulillah, this is halal income, half of the journey to Sakinah is actually completed, inshallah. And another question that we should also ask when we look at our income is how clear is the intention? Because niyyah or intention is the beginning, or the prerequisites of any succeeding actions in securing income for a family. There's a hadith that is very famous. In fact, it's the first hadith in the major hadith book, Innamal a'malu binniyat, which I'm sure all of us are aware of this hadith. If you look at this hadith, it clearly says that whatever you do it is actually determined by what kind of intention you have before you start the journey. In our case, for instance, most of us are students here. Intentions can define the way we approach the subject matters that we are studying, the way we approach the thesis, the way we approach the dissertations. If we are working, the intention will clearly define what kind of performance we are aiming at our work. If the intention is to earn a promotion, for instance, clearly it is the promotion that keep us awake at night, or that push us in the morning to go to the office or workplace. But if our intention is to ensure that what our family is having, what our family is eating, what we provide on the tables, on our dining table is something halal, something come from good sources. That's much higher beyond material. Beyond money, beyond ringgit, beyond pound sterling or yeah. So this is clearly very important. And of course, secondly, we should focus on halal. Have we, both of us, been able to ensure that what we earn always halal? Wallahu alam. We never know. But of course, we should try and focus always on halal. And the third pillars of earning income is early start. Early starters has been academically suggested as a good habit. A lot of people, the early starters, there's a study. I think there were few studies on this, but I remember one study that says that those who start early, who start working early, they tend to live happier, they tend to have a better relationship at work, and so on and so forth. So this is a good thing to follow, I think. A lot of students are old who tend to cram at nights before exams and then stay up late until 3 hours in the morning, and then they sleep after subuh, for instance. That would happen in Malaysia or I think in many places in our students as well. We tend to cram during exam weeks. And then that habit continues because we start focus of cramming, and then you start building up that habit of cramming on every deadlines. But early starter is I believe, is a good start. Rasulullah SAW encouraged us to start early. Having Salatul Qiyamul Layl is actually encourage us to sleep early, rise early. Because Salat, you cannot do Qiyamul Layl if you sleep after midnight, for instance. And Silaturahim has always been a proven recipe for success in earning good income. In today's world, we know Silaturahim as networking. And of course, don't forget to give, and muhasabah, and shukur. This is halal income, halal or income sources. I believe all of us will aim for the blue dot. What is halal income? All kind of, so basically what Islam prescribes as haram is very, very limited actually. Only four or five categories of say creatures that are haram. So all supply chain from the planting of that haram items through those who sell, those who witness the transactions, the whole supply chain is haram. But then anything that is halal, this is what is this? Cocoa. Yeah. All the way to the shipping, those who market the Cadbury officers or nursery or whatever, the whole supply chain of halal goods is inshallah halal. At least we can say 90%. Of course, we need to take into account transactions using interest, for instance. Then we have to take that out from this halal or the halal supply chain. But haram. Indonesian currency. This is our former first president, Sakinah. This is our first vice president, Hatta. This, of course, the Photoshop picture of the currency. They are being the shape of those who earn haram income. And anyone knows of this picture? This one? This is my place, my Aceh. Aceh is not just known for tsunami in 2004 or our traditional strict religious adherence, but also for, any guess? Cannabis, yes. Marijuana. ganja in Indonesia. So Aceh is the best quality of marijuana is from Aceh. This is true. These are the police who raid the forest, because basically, of course, those who plant them are the farmers who hide from the public. And it is actually not being used as a drug. Traditionally, it was being used as herbs, actually. If you put that in curry, lamb curry, you make it tastier. or it becomes much softer. Of course, but because though it is being used as drugs, so even little is forbidden. And this, of course, alcohol, and this is how about haram? Shubhat. What is shubhat? Shubhat is something not clear. Is something in between. It is not haram. It is not halal. Or not definite whether it is haram or halal. Anyone knows this? This is a parliament house in our country. Yeah, in most of, perhaps I think this is a few meetings where only few people attend, and even those attending are oversleeping. After long hours of deliberations, there's a husnuzan. And this is a cigarette. Of course, those in favor of smoking will say that, oh, it's not really haram. Not really haram. But those who are not, who don't want to smoke. But those who do smoke, please look at this picture. This is a famous picture in YouTube, I think few months ago, few years back. The little boy in Indonesia can smoke a few packets a day. It is an irony. Now, income is basically simple, right? If you ensure that this is halal, half of our journey to Sakinah, inshallah, no problem. And then how to spend those income. In Islam, we have heard, I believe, we have heard three classifications of consumptions or how to use our money. First is primary needs, secondary needs, and tertiary. Actually, in Islam, there is a more refined classification in Islam being provided, which is first daruriyat. So there are terms, specific terms in Islamic literature that say daruriyat is what you should prioritize. Daruriyat is not just primary, not just the first priority, but also daruriyat means more than that. So whatever you cannot live without, that's daruriyat. So daruriyat is something we cannot live without. So when you have income, what you want to spend on are those that you cannot live without. As students, I think books are classified as daruriyat, as primary, and stationaries and whatnot. Or in our family life, foods, of course, that's primary, and then house or shelter is primary, is daruriyat, and of course clothing. They cover our. But in addition to this, daruriyat also then being explained by scholars, among others, Imam Al-Ghazali, who then elaborate further on what constitutes daruriyat. Not just something you cannot live without, but also should protect the main components of our life. And Imam Al-Ghazali classified them into 5, although some others add more to it. The first, it has whatever you consume, whatever you spend, it should protect your faith. It should add up to your iman and faith. So it should protect faith and religion. Secondly, life. So he ranked this classification. Life is not just our life, but also life at large. So our basic needs, not just to protect our life, but also around us. And then lineage of family, knowledge, intellect, akal is very important. as well as wealth. So wealth ranks last in this category. So we should not put our hard-earned incomes merely to protect wealth. But it's quite interesting here. Wealth, how to protect wealth? So if you look at this, if you have a house and then you don't install any security equipment, alarm and whatnot, you are not doing justice in this definition of daruriyah. So installing security equipment is daruriyah. It's basic needs because it protects your wealth. Of course, it comes after all other category of expenses. So this is how we look at daruriyah or best primary needs. And then if you look at our more specifically, then we rank all this based on our, of course, long discussions, and we agreed that the first priority when you have income is debt. Why debt? Anyone would like to volunteer suggesting the reason why debt is first priority, not zakah or daily consumption? We can define debt later on, but why debt? Sorry? Yes, that's one explanation. Yes?
Well, you could pass away within a second and still have that debt. Say you passed away, Allah took you back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's hadith actually on that. The Rasulullah refused to perform Salatul Janazah on that person because he still have debt owed to another person. So debt will hold you from going out of this world. You cannot enter paradise if you still have debt. So debt is your first priority. Of course, then we talk about mortgage, we talk about house financing or car financing. That's a different thing. Because there is for instance, there's insurance that cover that. But also, if you have income, you don't necessarily spend all income to pay or to pay 100% of income to pay loans. Of course not, because there's installment process in place. So there's at least when you have income, that should be a priority. Paying installment of house financing or car financing should be priority. You should just set aside. If you have loan, you borrow money from a relative, then whatever you agree with them, the installment or in lump sum, you should set that aside whenever you have income. Close your eyes. Yes, this is my first priority. Then of course our obligation as a Muslim, zakah is something to purify our wealth by way of giving to the poor people. And then we should do, of course, we should provide consumption of food to our family and other needs. Education, as I said before, education should protect our religion as well, because by being knowledgeable, by being able to understand, to read, at least to read, you become more, become easier for you to learn new things, to understand what Quran says and what the ayah in the Quran and ayah in the Quran are telling us. But most importantly, education will protect akal, intellect. So all these in brackets, in italics are the five aspects that we have just listed down. So it covers. This is just illustrations, not a precise, precise representation of. This is the protection of nafs, for instance. So education should protect deen, nasl is lineage or family, and akal, of course. And emergency fund, we adopt this from conventional financial planning because we realize emergency fund is crucial for maintaining a good flow of a good life. I mean, predictable. It's a good practice basically to have emergency fund. says that you have 6 months worth of income in the saving accounts or current account is good. But this is of course up to us. Our own experiences dictate the size of our business. Of course, the administration is also important. This is an example. Apologies for this, just not meant to reflect anyone here, but just to make it easy how you prioritize your income. As we put here that this is the installment of mortgage, and then zakat. So zakat is something very actually a lot of issues that we need to discuss. But briefly, in this illustration, we assume that the person's liability is 250 pounds per year, based on 10,000 worth of assets, because zakat is 2.5%, as you all know, of our assets that has been in our possession for a year. Yeah. So you only pay zakat on the asset that has been with you for 1 year. So after 1 year, at the end of the year, you calculate, you just list down all the assets and measure evaluate the value, and it is beyond 80%, 85 grams of gold. In I think this is I'm not sure whether it is the case now. So basically, if it is valued more than 85, you have to pay zakat on that asset. So in this case, the price was I think it's approximately say 3,000. So you have assets worth of 3,000 pounds or more, you should pay zakat of 2.5. So in this case, the person is having an asset of 10,000. He does not pay, or the person does not pay lump sum, but he just makes sure. He just put aside 20 pounds per month. Yeah. Of course, the person is able actually to put everything to pay at once. But in many cases, in our especially our experiences, we prefer to put aside every month for our salary. We just put aside. Say if we estimate our zakat paid, our zakat liability at the end of the year is say 10 million rupiah. So we just put aside 1 million each month. It is not really hard. If you could just put aside immediately 10,000, then the whole salary or half the salary gone.
Not 1 million ringgit.
That's basically our practice, and this is what we recommend young families, in our interactions, because that's easier. So to make zakat payment easy for us, not to burden us. Then also, of course, and then we put aside on university funds and emergency funds and make sure we have surplus. These students, I'm not sure whether it applies to everyone, but basically the same principles applies. Rank is what takes up a lot of, more than half of our scholarship money into rank. And then zakat, and prepare zakat if you have assets at home. Is scholarship money zakatable?
Sure, not sure. Sure, not sure, not sure. If you use it, it's not zakatable. You save it, you use it.
Right. So that scholarship money is something being dedicated or put aside by the government or whoever sponsors us for our consumption to support our studies. So it is not something, although it is beyond this beyond 85 grand, we don't have to pay zakat. But if you have a surplus of that scholarship and then you buy gold, you set aside as savings, and that saving after a year. See, if you have that and then after a year it is more than 85, then we have to pay zakat from that savings, not from the stipend that we receive every month. How many of you have iPhones? iPhone is Daria or I forgot the spec. The second one is Hajian and Tasinian. Is iPhone not Dorian or Tasinian? Is Nokia? Phone is basic need perhaps in these days, but having basic phones, that's basic needs. But smartphones is not a smart basic needs. Well, basically this is just an example. So we have to prioritize based on this 5 categories. The area is the first thing that should come into mind. Why the area? Because it should be able to protect 5 important aspects of our life. 5 minutes? And also, there's 5 components of Imam Ghazali, but some scholars also extend the 5 aspects. The first one is deen, yeah, the religion or faith. Second one, life. Third one, family, nasl. Fourth one, no, the third one, intellect. The fourth one, mal is the fifth one. The other scholars extended to include protections of dignity, which is abstract to some. But we talk about, in my country, in our country, for instance, Indonesia, there are about 13% of populations are below poverty line. Below, yeah, not in between. About 30 million in poverty. So those who live in poverty apparently dignity is something beyond their reach. Because being poor, you are actually at the mercy of the rich people, at the mercy of governments in some cases. So dignity, protection of dignity also includes there as the ruya. Now, whose responsibility is the ruya? Not us, of course. Of course, our responsibility is to pay zakat. But in many cases, the government has to assume the responsibility of protection of dignity of the people. And then also protection of neighbors. There's the suggestion of some which I think very sensible, especially if you live in not just I think in UK cases, but in other cases as well, even our own country. To be friendly with the neighbors is a rare commodity now. We sometimes don't even know those who live next door in the cities. But Islam encourages us to make sure that the neighbors are in good conditions. What is the definition of neighbors? Do you know? Who are neighbors? Who constitute neighbors to class? Anyone knows? The one next to us, one house surrounding us, the next door neighbors, left, right. 40 houses. Radius, right? Not just 40 houses to the right or to the left, but
if you have flats, about 40 houses of you.
So that's the definition of neighbors. So we have to make sure the neighbors 40 up, 40 down, left, right, are not going to bed hungry at night. So it's a tall order to follow. But at least if you have intention to make sure that, or at least we have intention to do that, it will be recorded as a good intention. Cash flow is very important. The key is discipline, of course. So after putting priority, you have to record that. We have been doing that, especially make sure that every penny being spent are recorded and known. We can do books, cash flow books, because why we need to record all the transactions? Basically, at the end of the month, if you know why it is less, why it is more, you know where what caused problems. Basically, when we do when we audit the finance, we know what source, what kind of expenses we have spent for the past month. That's the use of it. We can use apps, which is easy to find. Some are free, most are paid. But not really expensive. And by having all these transactions being recorded, we are able to ensure that our finance is in order. Now, that's the second aspect. The first one is income, second is needs, and now, how about dreams? Dreams are those after the area is beyond primary. Those no longer primary. If we have been able to secure our primary needs, then we are able then to move up a little bit on fulfilling other needs. Hajiyat is something something that reduce or take away burdens of our life. So to define secondary needs as something like cars, like computers, is a crude definition. The correct, the refined definition is something that leave our burdens. So if daruriyah is something we cannot live without, hajiyah is something that uplift the burdens of our life. So for instance, if we go to if our travels requires if we travel every day, I mean, what is the use of car? If the car can lift the burdens of our travels, our commutes every day, then it's hajiyah. Otherwise, if it is just a decorations in our garage, especially in Indonesia, you see, well, people just buy car as a decorations, for instance. There's taksinya or like luxurious, or like those in fairy tales countries who have cars in the garage of in the dozens. All of them are costing perhaps basic needs of a poor country. There's of course beyond Tanzania, which I don't have the terms in mind. The country that should not be named.
Not Malaysia.
The fairy tale countries. So hajiyat and so something that leave our burdens. Now tahsiniyat is tahsin is beauty. So tahsiniyat are those that perfect our life, perfecting our life. So the definition is not just luxury, but something that refines an aesthetic aspect of life. So iPhone 5 focus. Is there any other more advanced than 5? Okay. I caught you. 5 S or 5C, what? 5C, no? C. Okay. So this is the classification of wants. So wants are something that falls into this category. Wants or wants are so unlimited that we invent economics. Who studies economics here? How do you economists are those who talk, who speak two languages, two sides. On one hand, on the other hand. On one hand, you can have subsidy, but on the other hand, you cannot have subsidy. And the key to achieving this is, of course, being content. So unlimited the wants are that we cannot control the wants. Although we have all this in mind, the framework that it is hajiyat, it is tahsiniyat, often we cannot restrict ourselves. Our eyes are so used to all brands, all the things. We window shop online, window shops to the malls, to the markets. So much so that compulsive shopping or impulsive shopping are daily fact of life. You cannot even impulsive purchasing or buying is I think the key things that make a lot of problems. Is one of the triggers for the problems in many countries. I found many those people who just started working in Malaysia or in Indonesia, they have credit cards multi-credit cards, at least 2 or 5, because so easy to get credit ability to spend as well. By the end of the month, what happens?
Any enemy of a credit card here?
We all in favor of credit cards, aren't we? So credit cards is making the purchase so easy that it's no longer impulsive shopping. So it's like a therapy. It's therapeutic. Shopping is a therapy, of our life. So to restrain ourselves, we have to actually install an antidote in our heart. This antidote is qana. What's qana? Qana is being content on what we have. It's hard things to do. I don't think everyone can escape that by one point in time in their life. And of course, we have also experienced this instead. At one time, I bought I had credit cards, and I spent that every month on Amazon, I think, books. And at the end of the month, she was surprised to see in the bills of 3 million, 2 million rupiah worth of perhaps 150 pounds. And immediately I have to cut the card because the pressure at home is so much.
So we have to sign an agreement. The next month we will not deal with the credit card. I'm the enemy of credit card.
So sometimes a dictatorial type of regime should be imposed at home, but not all the time. So qana'a has to be imposed, has to be kind of, we should try to adopt that. And of course, if you plan ahead for Sakinah and Hajiat, and you classify them as to protect, because the 5 aspects of protection, life and whatever, you can also apply for Sakinah and Hajiat, not necessarily for government only. These are the example of planning. So when a lot of people talk about planning, financial planning, they talk about Sakinah and Hajiat aspect of consumption. So that's why we disagree with the approach of financial planning. Because only if you want to buy something luxury, something beyond basic needs, then you need to plan carefully. But our life is not just consumes all Sakinah and Hajiat. So we don't always need financial planning. What we need is financial management. That's why it's Sakinah finance, financial management. Apologies, this is solusi mudah mengatur keuangan keluarga. It's Indonesian, but basically it is the easy solutions to manage, not to plan, but to manage family finance. This is how financial planning should be applied. Hajj, for instance, or expensive car. I'm not sure whether it is already expensive or not for some of us here. Perhaps not, yeah. But for instance, furniture set. A lot of Malaysian families, we notice always buy Chesterfield furniture set while in UK. Correct or correct? Now we have been in Leicester and Glasgow. We noticed because I think the Malaysian families can bring a container without tax or customs. But for us, we have to pay hefty sums of tax and customs. So it is easier to bring stuff from Malaysia. Okay. Surplus. Debt. The last thing before we move on, debt. What is debt in Islam? We talk about credit cards. Is it a lot or not? It is a lot. Not a lot? Why? Yeah, there's a lot. There are different explanations to that. But debt is permitted on strict conditions. There is very long conditions that has to be abide by. So basically, debt is permissible for a purpose. For instance, for a family that has to borrow to finance their daily life, their consumptions, it is permitted. There's a difference though in the hadith. There's the difference between a rich person who borrow money or in debt and a poor person who are in debt. The hadith says that a rich person who owes money to another person, if he dies, he is still responsible for that debt, as we discussed earlier. Because he is able to pay, he was able to pay the debt. But for a poor person, he borrowed money to feed his family, and he has intention in his heart to pay the debt. If he is once he's able to, he is not being accountable because Allah will forgive his debt. So there's a difference. So if those poor people borrowing just to feed their life and to feed themselves and their family, they are in the condition that push them. So that it is not for tahsiniyah, it is not for hajiyah, it is for daruriyah, to protect their life. So the one who takes people back, this is the explanations. And surplus, of course, because we talk about investment. If any question, we can ask later on. Contingency is something, insurance. But basically, Sakinah finance is achieved when you have the income is surplus and the expenditures is less than income. Any questions? This is the second aspect, second station. Any questions? We will share, of course, the workbook later on, the presentations. Yes?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's very interesting presentation. But I would like to know more. For example, in the Quran, you know that the central idea is barakah.
Yeah.
Everything, you just mentioned the barakah of it.
Yes.
Everything is about barakah. So the central issue is Al-Quran. My personal opinion is barakah. Can you relate what your concept or framework? Previously, you mentioned about contingency and with the concept of barakah. For example, it's very important because you make it prioritization. I think it will be, maybe it might be different when you consider barakah as a main idea, for example. Maybe the prioritization will different. So can you explain about that?
I think the central tips on managing incomes is that actually when our income is halal from halal sources, a lot of people are doubtful whether if they focus on halal only, it will be enough for their family. But I think a lot of proofs or a lot of evidence have shown that if we have full conviction that halal income is enough for us, because our income will come into that. I fully agree with you, and I think of course perhaps we did not. Yes. So the halal, when we focus on halal, the barakah will come. So I think it's implicit in our explanation, although we don't say this barakah, but yes, it is. Yes.
Because it's halal and tayyiban. Yes, two words, not halal. So how about the tayyiban?
The way we see it, tayyib more on consumption itself.
Yes, that's what you should say about the prioritization is consumption. So halal is not only one word; it's halal and tayyiban. So
Yeah.
Can I just add a bit? Yes, in Al-Baqarah 168, and in fact, subhanAllah, Allah mentioned it not for Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. If we open the Al-Baqarah 168, Allah mentioned it clearly for Ya ayyuhan nas. Subhanallah. Ya ayyuhan nas, kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiban. Wa la tattabi'u khutuwati syaitan illa lakum aduwwun. So, this is our duty to remind our brothers, our friends, our neighbors who are non-Muslims to eat halal and tayyib. Because Allah mentioned it for ayyuhan nas. So that is the important and central to it. And not only for what we actually receive. Yes, halal, not only focus on halal. We agree scholarship said, okay, I can use it for my research. But I think again, I think it's not appropriate for me where some other Indonesians are suffering and desperate to get scholarships. So I decided to cut it out. So to me, halal and tayyiban is central when we receive and also spending. So whether it is halal to spend and it is halal also and it is tayyiban, it's not only food that we actually spend and we focus on whether there is a E7 to 1 big concept that we are really busy about, but whether when we consume it, whether we become a more toy person. So, and then whether when we buy clothes, whether we will become a more toy person. So, and then barakah will come.
It's implicit in our purpose. It's short of expect us of
So thank
mentioning.
you for reminding me that I like it.
Any other questions?
I think we get just break for
Alright, so that's the end of first session today. So, you rock guys.